Well, howdy, 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 nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys and girls, and welcome to this, a brand new day. I'm very sorry. No hamster. They're all sleeping. I don't feel like waking them up. So, my apologies. But, it's a brand new day, and in accordance with this, with Seven and the Ragged Tiger by the group Duran Duran back in the 80s, because I was in the Air Force in Germany when the album came out, is an excellent album. I do not like the group Duran Duran. I've never liked their stuff until the album Seven and the Ragged Tiger, and just about every song on that one is a winner. So if you like 80s stuff, look up Seven and the Ragged Tiger by Duran Duran. I'm overcome by nostalgia right now with various songs of that running through my head. Anyway though, it is a brand new day. I am both glad and very, very unhappy about my bodily situation, and hopefully something will change with that. Oh, pop my knuckles because the fingers hurt. But last night, I just walked from here deeper into southern Shelton, visited my kids, went with a walk with my son from deeper into southern Shelton down to the post office and back. A mile round trip, mile and a half. That was all the walking I did. Now, I'm unhappy about that because, as mentioned, my resting pulse is 44. And that's a moderate athlete's pulse. And that's just from walking. So I've become healthy by walking. And so I need to walk and walk often. But last night, with that very, very little bit of walking that I did, when I got back here after visiting my kids, it was like 9 o'clock. 10:30, there was no reason for me to stay awake. My back was killing me. My legs were uncomfortable. I was tired, sleepy. There was just no reason to even stay up any longer. I was just torturing myself by trying. So 10:30, I went to bed. 5 o'clock, I woke up. Say it was 11 when I fell asleep at the latest. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of sleep. Solid. Because I didn't stress out my back and inflame my nerves by exercising. No! What am I gonna do? If I exercise to stay healthy, I can't sleep. I am salivating like crazy around my dentures today, my sincere apologies. But if I exercise, I can't sleep. But I need to exercise because it's important at my age to stay healthy. I want to live as long as possible, as healthily as possible. And the best way to do that is to exercise, to keep your meat machine running. And when I do that, I can't sleep. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to go back on opiates. I'm glad that I'm no longer doing cardiac damage through taking opiates, because the older you are and the longer you take them, the more cardiac damage they do. And I was on opiates for a good 10 years. So I don't want to go back on opiates. I have to figure out a way to exercise that's not going to keep me from sleeping. Also, as you may have noticed, I said I went and talked to my kids last night. I talked to my sister-in-law yesterday. The housing situation in Shelton is not good. People have money, there's not a lot of housing. Ever since they had to, because their house was just falling apart, they could not keep up with keeping it repaired, because my brother-in-law is badly disabled by this point. He can't even drive anymore. My sister-in-law, well, they're both heavy. They can't do a lot of things around the house. And my kids can't really do that. And their kids have all moved out. So they couldn't keep up because the entirety of their, what is the word? Kitchen. That's the word. I couldn't say it, even though it was in my head. Their kitchen, every time it rained, there were like 4 or 5 leaks. And they'd been working on it with their own son, trying to get it to stop leaking, and nothing was working. So the house was falling apart. They couldn't keep up with it. They had to give it back to the bank. That's when I lost my home in their garage and ended up here. They've been having to rent. Apparently, either the rent is going up or they're just not going to be rented to because the person doesn't want to rent or is selling or some such. At the end of May, they got to move. They're already anticipating having to live in their trailer for a while until they can find housing somewhere. So as I've, not frequently, but I have been, ever since my wife died, I lived for a year in their garage and I interacted with my kids. But once I had to move out and here, and they moved somewhere else, I kept reaching out, dropping by, talking, phone numbers. I send email, and it's always been just a one-way thing from me to them. So as I was walking with my son last night, I just said, I'm going to say this once and not anymore, and there's no anger in it. But I have kept reaching out and saying, I will be here. But now, you never have, and at the end of May, you won't be able to because you may be moving out of Shelton. You lived 5 minutes away and didn't reach out, and now there may be no more opportunity at all. So between now and the end of May, I'm going to do as best I can, but they got to try and reach out too. And my son was saying, it's only later on when you begin to see decisions that you've made as the wrong ones. So that's joyous and wonderful. So they're going to be moving out, and I don't know where. They don't know where. May not be Shelton, maybe Olympia, maybe further out, maybe who knows. Oh well, life is life. Past that though, I've just been trying to survive. I've been, last night, after I finished up with my videos, I just didn't do a whole lot. I mean, it was close to 6 when I was all done. And that's when I decided I'm going to walk up and see my kids. And so I did that. And after walking with my son down to the post office and back, I stayed there and we talked about this, that, and the other. We played music. I searched up stuff on YouTube. I showed him this and that. And we talked. We did stuff. So it was good. My daughter was there, of course. But she's too has been going to counseling this past year. Her mother's death hit her very hard. She's not in regular school, has not been in regular school for some time, kind of like homeschooling and such, because her mother's death hit her hard. She's been going to weekly counseling this past year. When Jennifer died, it hit everybody hard. I mean, my sister-in-law, that was her sister that died. So, it's not been easy for anybody. I just hope that I'm still going to be able to see my kids. That would be good. He's like, and it was like 8:30. And his sister-in-law, his aunt was saying, it's almost time for bed. And he's like, he's 15 or 16 and he's got like a 9 or 9:30 bedtime. I think I even had a 10 o'clock bedtime by that point. So, but then one of the things I haven't liked is they've been insisting, both of them, brother-in-law and sister-in-law, that my kids call them mom and dad. But that's the way it's always been since they've been guardians of my kids, so it's not new. It didn't just happen once my wife died, her sister, their mother. It was just, they've always done that, and I haven't approved, but oh well. So I'm just surviving and trying my best. I've got stuff that I need to clean up in here again. Even though I moved literally everything out of the room, vacuumed, tidied up, I am still a bachelor. And even though you don't have to be a slave to the past, whatever you were yesterday, you don't have to be that today. You can be whatever you want today. There are no rules. I mean, there are society rules. There are laws. There are that sort of thing that, you don't just take a knife and start stabbing people or carving up trees or putting animals on leashes off the ends of people's houses. What I mean is, you don't have to be a slave to the past. Just because you couldn't do something yesterday doesn't mean you can't decide today, I want to be that. So don't be a slave to the past. You don't have to be. I've been learning and been trying to learn this, and as much as, I've said it before, and I'll undoubtedly have to say it again, because I'm human, I forget even the things that I say. So, you don't have to be a slave to the past. You can be whatever you want to be, which is what I, as stated, have to remember too, because I've got limits because of fibromyalgia and my back injuries and depression and that sort of thing. But aside from those limits, I don't have to be the bachelor that I have been. I could be whatever I want to be, which is the same for anyone. You can be whatever you want to be. If you've never been artistic before, throw everything out and just become an artist. Go for the gusto. I mean, obviously, if you have like a family to feed and all that, don't stop doing that. You've got to provide. But you can be whatever you want to be. Yay. I mean, I'm a writer. I consider myself a writer. I've been a writer my whole life, even though I'm not currently writing right now because I'm trying to figure out how to fit my writing in during my video times and my exercising times and my sleeping times and just all that. I'm still a writer. I'm not a paid professional writer. I've never been published by any of the big boys, but I've had amateur press associations. I've been in fanzines. I've done stuff online. I mean, I'm a writer. I write. I don't necessarily get paid for my writing, but when I actually write and get the dust out of the joints and get everything running when it's and working properly, I think I'm a good writer. I don't necessarily have any wonderful and deep stories to tell. They're usually just shallow and mindless, but they're entertaining and fun, even if they're horrifying and such. One story that I'm still working on, I've mentioned it before and I'll do it again because it's an old story. A lot of the stories that I have now are things from my youth where there's no more physical existence of them. And so I'm trying to remember them and bring them back, like the story Grass that was actually based on a nightmare that I'd had when I was under 10 years old. And it stuck with me long enough that I made a story out of it when I was 20. I liked it a lot, but it's stuck in an APA somewhere, if there are any that exist anymore. So I want to rewrite things like that and get them out. And I think I can do a pretty good job. I just have to, once again, clear all the dust out, get the grease in the joints, get things working again, and then things will start chugging along and it'll be good. That's why I'm working on this one story. There was a philosopher who says, if you go into a swamp and you're hit by lightning and it kills you, but another strike of lightning at the exact same time forms out of the swamp an exact replica of you, down to your memories and all, the person asks, is this now effectively you? He says, no, there's no life experiences. This person is not a person. They've only existed. They have your memories, but they have no actual existence. So they're not a real person. But that's the philosopher's view on that, because the story that I've got is where I've told part of it, where this person does a thing. And an other universal thing basically unscrews his head, plasticizes his nervous system, sucks it out of his body, makes a quantum recording of him, And then it takes like 6 hours. So the body is there, nothing in it, not working, torn to pieces. And then after 6 hours, it's been sitting there slowly dying. This stuff gets squidged back into it that replaces its nervous system. Then there's another squidge of stuff that just melts away all of the body that can't be repaired. And then boom, alien hardware, alien biological hardware. This stuff becomes human. And then the guy's mind is re-downloaded into the body. And so the fellow is left saying, who am I? I am not this person. I don't have these memories. Who am I? And only later on in another story, because I want to do a series on this fellow, he's not only caught with who am I, but what am I? Because at that point, he realizes there's not even anything human in his body anymore. What does it mean to be human if you're just a copy of a human being running on alien hardware? And I hope you had your seatbelts on, because I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments. We're making a 90-degree turn, and I'm going to thank 20 to 25 people for having left me comments in the past 24 hours. There's a range of 20 to 25, because even though I count American Sign Language on the fingers of this hand with my depression, fibromyalgia, brain damage from alcoholism, and more, I'm 1,000% better than I used to be, but if I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. I'm an American English speaker, maybe you noticed, and we're just not good at pronouncing names. And of course, I'm not reading the comments right now. I'm going to read as many as I can afterward. Thumbs up each one I do. Answer as many as I can. But for right now, whether you left me a good comment, a bad comment, an indifferent comment, the fact is you left me a comment. Thank you so very much. It is appreciated. Except for the abusive ones, and I don't get many of those. I just trash can those ones immediately. But everything but the abusive ones are good. Like I said, very few. Tori Doster, greatly appreciated. And Jay Swift, greatly appreciated. Tanner Bowman, thumbs up and thank you. And Kathy Kitscat, thumbs up and thank you as well. Good to see you in the comments. Matthew Bulcher, hello. Vegard Tobias, I can't pronounce your last name. Sarud Burnich? I do not know, but thank you very, very much. I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name. Big Boy Tyler, greatly appreciated. Pandora NYC1, thumbs up and thank you. Oh yeah, oh yeah, thumbs up and thank you. QP Minecraft Pro, thumbs up and thank you very much. Emo Rat 23, greatly appreciated. Underscore Cherry, thumbs up and thank you. Joseph Vela, thumbs up. Zombie Wolf, good to see you. Your Dad Zach, thumbs up on that. X Voltage, greatly appreciated. X Pyrith, I sure hope. Jula, Ju, capital L-A. Curran Steffens. Oh, excuse me. My sincere apologies. That caught me by surprise. And T3X champion, greatly appreciated. Jeremiah Stokes, thumbs up and thank you. Sacha Van Bauer, greatly appreciated. Jordan Hendrickson. Sean Reffett, greatly appreciated. And last but not least, Kitty Corn Life. Thumbs up and thank you all so very much for getting me out of my head into the world, dealing with real people. It is appreciated. It is late. Holy smokes, what happened to the time? If you can check out my various links, I have Twitter, Facebook, GoFundMe, Patreon.com, NearlySeniorCitizen.com. If you could donate to my GoFundMe campaign or become a Patreon.com patron, that one of these beautiful and awesome people, that would be beautiful and awesome. But if you cannot donate or you simply do not donate, I do take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart where I draw interest. So thank you very much. Where am I? Is it with toss me a like? Because that's greatly appreciated. If you could. And if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be very cool, very awesome. Definitely a thumbs up. I would understand if you don't want to, especially when I lose track of, like, where my head is. So, thumbs up and thank you all. Oh, holy smokes, it's later and later. What happened to the time? I've got this video, I have another video I need to edit and render. I'm going to record another video. I still have a Walkies video that the longer I don't do it, the more I just want to delete it. So I'm not quite sure it's on the road, so it's still valid. It's a good one. So you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, my friend. And that is a very good thing. Reach out. Engage with the world. That's the only way to get connected to the time stream. You have to become engaged with people in the world.